All right, all right. Welcome back to Stomp in the Swamp, made by LASEF. Right now, we're doing a coaches panel right now at LACUE, and because we want to hear from coaches. We couldn't do this without coaches. These kids need inspiration. These kids need leadership, and that's what these guys are, is our leadership at the school level, and that's our coaches. So I guess first question, how's your experience been today at LACUE and at our esports?
It's always a good time. It's good professional development. I get to network with a lot of other educators and people in the esports and tech scene. And it's nice to get out of work for a day and get to do some professional development. But
Yes, it's an awesome time. My students actually said this was the best field trip ever. They're also been going to different vendors and everything, and I'm like, that's not for y'all. But then they brought me back to another little vendor, and they said they said, you have to take us on a field trip here, or you have to tell Miss Johnson to get this. So not only am I having a great time, my students are having a great time as well.
And that's also been my experience, that a lot of my students have actually engaged with the vendors and the technology that is designed for educators, almost as much as I have been, and asking questions and asking relevant questions. And they can even see how a lot of this technology can be implemented in the classrooms and make their school life better. So it's been really eye-opening, I think, as educators.
I'll concur with my colleagues. It's been very positive so far. Identifying areas that I'm a social studies teacher normally, so areas where I can incorporate the STEM technology into my classroom. I was talking to a vendor who does 3D printing, and that is something that we can use in the classroom in social studies with replicas of artifacts and other things such as that. So I feel it's been very positive. My students have had a phenomenal time so far. They're really enjoying getting to play and all these opportunities that are available. And just like everyone else, they're really excited to see the vendors.
If y'all saw a look on my face, that was because Caden Dunston, our Vice President of Operations, got on the microphone while we're here. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Caden. He'll be up here later on the student panel. If you could give me one good memory so far this year of something that happened in your esports program, student achievement or team achievement, just something that's just stand out, what can we say?
So I actually have a senior who just enrolled in my school, Colby David. He is brand new to Terra, but he is phenomenal at Smash Bros. And I have had the pleasure of seeing him just come in and excel at esports, but also he has reached out to over a dozen colleges and their esports programs, and he has been offered thousands of dollars in potential scholarships. So he has plenty of options to play collegiate esports, and he put in all that effort himself. He was reaching out to the colleges and their coaches and figuring out which colleges have the best programs and what different programs they offer. So I've just been really impressed and amazed at his drive to continue his esports journey collegiately. And, he's going to have a really nice potential scholarship out there for him with what some of these colleges are offering.
I would say the expansion of our esports team at Capital Elementary. We started off with a faithful 3 when we first started esports, and then the next year we started off with 3 or 4 students, and we basically were just doing Rocket League because, of course, I wanted to win. And now this year, I believe we have more than 10 students who are actually a part of the esports team. And of course, all the 21st century students are involved in esports. When they first came, we did a kind of a little tour of our school because our school got changed to a 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade school. And we had a lot of students coming to a Capital Elementary just to go to esports. So I'm so excited to see our program expanding, and I'm so excited to see our students here and engaging. We just hope to expand our students to about probably 20, 30 team members.
I've had a similar experience this year in that I had a very tight-knit group to start with a few years ago, and my concern coming into this year was that they're all aging out and naturally kind of taking a step back from the program and taking on more responsibilities outside of the team. But I was really surprised at the way that my younger players have stepped up. And in particular, I have an 8th grader instead of a high schooler, an 8th grader who has really stepped up and like spearheaded our Rocket League team and kept it going and recruited more members to start playing. And so I'm really hopeful for the next few years to have a continued, like a new cohort taking up the same enthusiasm and bringing us into the next set of players.
I would say it's kind of hard to pick one thing that stands out, but as far as at Sherwood, we had a phenomenal group of 8th graders last year. They're gone. We have a new group of 8th graders, and they've taken on a lot of student leadership. And I think that really stands out to me as the positive in our program right now is how much I'm able to, as the sole coach of 25 students, actually I think it's more like 32, it's very nice that I can have these 8th graders and even 7th graders within our program really step up in leadership. And I've even had 6th graders here at Sherwood. We have mostly 8th graders from our school, but we have a couple of 7th graders here, and one of our 6th graders who's always volunteering to help put up our equipment, set up our practices, and that kind of leadership, it really sticks out to me. We've had a lot of positives this year as a team, but just being able to have students take on responsibility, learn those skills that we want them to have in life, and really apply it in our esports program, for me, that means the world.
Yeah, I hear you about trying to pick that one moment when there's so many of them. I think my moment this year was, I think it was at either Jamboree or the EBRL kickoff where we had new shoutcasters come on board. So we had Ocean, who just started being an ambassador this year, and he finished setting up Mario Kart. He's like, Mr. Harrison, what can I do now? I was like, you won Mario Kart last year. How would you like to get on the shoutcasting desk? I'm good, let's go. And I was just like, this is awesome, you know, because I don't have to worry when my 11th and 12th graders are graduating. I got a whole class of middle schoolers coming up on that shoutcasting desk to take over. And watching the high schoolers teach the younger ones how to do it. So it's like teachers train the trainers. It's amazing watching these kids take ownership of that. All right, so my last question, because we're probably all going to have different answers, but why esports?
I like to win, and it's fun. That's about it.
It's just something new. You never ever heard of a school having an esports team. And then it's surprising how many students actually will join a school just to do esports. It's just a different area. I just consider it STEM at this point because students are collaborating, they're working together, they're using their critical thinking skills. Esports is just the place to be right now, and especially when you can just put a lot of brands under esports. It's not just about gaming, it's about so much more. And that's why I'm just proud to be the coach of esports along with Mr. Poole.
I agree that it's basically like an extension of STEM. I'm a gamer, and so I really like being able to use this as an example of, you know, you're never too old to play games, that there's other applications, and you can incorporate this into the entire ecosystem of esports, like marketing, shoutcasting, digital design, and all of my players have done something other than play video games as part of the esports team.
It's for me, it's a chance to provide new opportunities for my students. I'll never forget last year when I was looking at the applications, and we had over 100 applications to join our esports team, and it was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to cut this down? One of my students wrote in his esports application that he wanted to be a part of something at Sherwood, but he didn't feel like he was athletic. Excuse me, sorry. He didn't feel like he was athletic enough to be a part of our basketball team or track. And having that opportunity for esports, for him to compete, and he ended up making playoffs last year and making a lot of friends through our esports program. That opportunity for me provides a lot of value to our students. I play Pokemon competitively. I finished top 256 in the North America last year. And one of the things that was even cooler than that for me is we had students from our school participate at the North American International Championships here in New Orleans, and we're going to do that again this year, and we're going to do very well, I believe. And just having those opportunities for our students, I think we all would agree that that's why we're here, and that's what I love about esports.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just a place to belong. You know, that's the biggest thing. And I'm. You said you're a gamer, and I play games, but I learned to never play against these students. It don't matter what age they are. I'm never doing it again. Sorry, even you little elementary kids. I'm not playing against y'all. Don't worry, because I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get my butt beat. But anyway, another thing I love seeing about esports is our workforce development. I mean, just at the arena right now, if you notice, we have our shoutcasters, we have kids running the production, we have tournament organizers. There's a job for everyone here. So we have a lot of kids that play games, but they're more into doing that stuff now. So they're learning skills. That's what I love about it. But anyway, that's going to wrap up this coaches panel. Pretty soon you're going to hear from the students themselves. So we'll be right back after this.